Writing an offer is an exciting step, but there's a lot more to it than just putting a purchase price on a contract. Today, I'm going to break down all the important factors that you should discuss with your agent, including the allocation of fees, contingencies, and timelines. I'm David Mercier. I'm a Southern California realtor who believes dream homes do come true, and I specialize in helping people get from where they're at to the dream home that they've been wanting for years. So, if you're renting and you want to start taking advantage of the power that real estate has in building wealth, you're living in a small condo and you want to upgrade, or you're just not feeling like your current space is your forever home, I can help you make a plan to get in that dream home that you've been thinking about for years. So reach out if you want to get started. But let's dive into what goes into making a great offer. First, of course, we have the purchase price. Now, you as the buyer are going to have a maximum that you can spend, right? So that's either the amount that you're qualified for with a loan, whatever your budget is, if you're paying cash, or oftentimes people qualify for more than they want to pay for a home because if they took the maximum out that they're allocated by the lender, their monthly payment would be more than they're willing to take on. So you want to find that sweet spot of where you're comfortable with your monthly payment, but you are able to afford a home in the area that you want to live in. And that can be arrived at by having a discussion with your lender and your agent to help kind of rein in a realistic budget for your home. But the purchase price that you submit your offer on, kind of like you're opening the conversation for negotiations. And to arrive at a good purchase price, you're going to want to talk to your agent. Your agent is going to look at comparable homes that have recently sold in the neighborhood or the area. And they're also going to talk to you about the type of market you're in, whether they think the house is priced below market, at market value, or aspirational, above market value. And you're going to have this conversation also depending on what's your timeline and how much you love the house. If it is the house for you, it's probably not wise to go in with a super low offer, but it really depends on the market and the agent you're working with. A good agent is going to reach out to the listing agent and have a conversation about what the sellers are looking for. Maybe they have a timeline. Maybe they're in escrow on their next house and they've got to sell it quickly. Maybe they have 10 offers and you need to really do something to make yours stand out. So your agent should always contact them and try to get a sense of what is going on. Now, some listing agents are very coy. They don't share a lot of information, and others are super transparent. They just want the best deal for their clients. So they're going to be more open about all of the facts. So your agent should reach out and then have a conversation with you to arrive at the best purchase price that you can put in the contract. Now, most of the time, you're probably going to receive a counteroffer. So you should talk about that process too with your agent. So your opening bid for the home that you're going to put as the purchase price of the home is most likely not going to be the actual amount that you purchased the home for, but it's the start of the conversation, right? And so, besides purchase price, like I mentioned, there are a bunch of things that go into an offer that are negotiable. And you're going to want to discuss these with your agent because some of them have upfront costs that you would cover. Some of them are out of pocket right away. Some of them you pay for at closing through escrow with the money that you're borrowing. So it really depends on how you write the offer, what costs are due and when. And so though that is why, and so that is why you want to discuss these things with your agent. First up, we have the earnest money deposit. Now I'm going to talk more about like what to do with your earnest money deposit after you open escrow. So subscribe to the series and you'll get all of the next steps along the way. But basically, when you write an offer, you have your purchase price and then you have your down payment amount, whatever you're comfortable with, and a percentage or a part of your down payment is going to be your earnest money deposit. So typically, it's like 1 to 3% of your purchase price, and this is due right when you open escrow. So once you're done with negotiations, your offer gets accepted, you open escrow, then your earnest money is due within a couple of business days. And that is just a way for you as the buyer to communicate, like, hey, we're serious about performing all of the things that are outlined in our contract to purchase your house. And we're going to back that up with some of our cash. And escrow is going to hold on to that. It's very safe and secure for you as a buyer. A lot of people get freaked out about it, but the contract, as we'll talk about, is going to have tons of protections for you as a buyer to receive that money back should something go awry with escrow. Um, The earnest money deposit, and I'll explain it more in a future video, is a part of your down payment. So you'll take the whole down payment and you'll first send out a portion of that as your earnest money deposit. And then at the end of escrow, when it's time to wire the rest of your funds, you'll wire your closing costs plus the down payment minus the earnest money deposit. The earnest money deposit is usually cash that you have on hand. Sometimes people receive funds from like a family member, stuff like that, but that is due right away. So you want to make sure that you can cover that 3%, 1 to 3%, I should say, and talk to your agent about what would be appropriate and what would be helpful in making an offer stand out in this market. So then you have a number of different fees, and you can ask for the seller to cover them, you can cover them, or you can split them. You could also write your offer where you're going to pay for everything, but you're going to ask that the sellers cover like a set amount of money, like they credit you at the end of escrow, and that you would use cover those fees with that. But it's more typical for people to decide fee by fee who's going to pay for it. Some of the more well-known fees are like the closing costs that would include like the escrow fees and the title fees. Um, there's other fees that are dependent on where the property is located. Sometimes the city has a transfer tax that they charge, the county has a transfer tax that they charge, and you can ask the seller to pay for those outright or split them. So most people ask for the seller to cover a home warranty up to a certain amount, and your agent can help you figure out that amount. Usually it's based on square footage and what features or appliances are included in the home. Like if there's a pool, you might want to add coverage for a pool and stuff like that. Now, all of these fees could add up to a few $1,000s depending on the price point of the home. So it is important to discuss it with your agent to let them know what you're comfortable covering. And the agent is going to tell you, what ones should you cover to make your offer stand out the most and help you win if you're competing against a bunch of other offers. Now, I've also mentioned contingencies, and those are the protections that we build into an offer for you as the buyer to investigate the home, learn about the home, and decide if you want to continue with the sale. They protect you by giving you an out if you want to cancel the escrow. Then you can usually receive your earnest money deposit back. You won't receive back any expenses that you've paid out of pocket, like appraisal fee or inspection fees, but you'll get the majority of your money back, which would be the EMD deposit, earnest money deposit. Contingencies can help your offer stand out because you can shorten up the timeline, and that just communicates your seriousness and that you are willing to work hard quickly to learn everything you can about the home and proceed with the escrow. So a lot of contingencies are standard to have 17 or 21 days, and you can talk with your agent about making those shorter. A lot of people, to make their offer stand out, will do the like disclosures and the property inspections to shorten it to 10 days. If you want to shorten the appraisal or the loan contingency, which is protecting you to make sure that you can get your mortgage before everything is official, then you need to speak to your lender if you're going to shorten those. And a lot of times lenders will say, like this is our absolute minimum time that we need, maybe add 1 or 2 days, and then you can shorten it to that. But I would not recommend shortening those without having a conversation with your lender if you're borrowing money. And also, I'm going to go into all of the inspections you should do, and we're going to really cover contingencies in future videos. So make sure you subscribe. And then another thing you want to decide if in your offer, so it's in writing and there's no ambiguity moving forward, is if there are any personal property items in the home that are going to come to you through the sale of the home. So most of the time that includes appliances. Nowadays, there's also solar panels to consider, smart home features that might be installed that it might be written in the property description that they're going to include like the camera doorbell or smoke detectors or a thermostat that's smart. Don't just assume that because it's in the property description, they're going to be transferred to you. You should put that in writing in your contract. And then also, if they say that they're going to include with the sale, like something that you might not want, a lot of times that's like a pool table, a piano, or an old hot tub. You can write in your contract to exclude those, and that would give them a clear directive to remove that from the property before they transfer it to you. And so that way, when you're later in the down the road in escrow, you don't have to have an argument about that. It's clear and everyone knows what to. So that is just a brief overview of what goes into making an offer. Remember that you want to talk to your agent about how to make your offer stand out the most, which depends on the market and your timeline and how long the house has been on the market. Um, and so that is a whole conversation that you should have before writing an offer on a home. A lot of people say, a lot of clients who are first-time buyers, will look at a home and they'll be like, "This is great. Why don't you write up an offer and we'll sign it tonight?" And go to walk to their car and I'll be like, wait, we need to have a talk. There's like a million things that we need to cover. So, I mean, it's going to be a quick conversation. I don't want to scare you, but there are a lot of things that you need to consider when you're putting an offer together. If you are looking at homes and you don't have an agent and you want to submit an offer somewhere in California, hit me up. I would love to chat with you, see if we're a good fit to work together. And if you have any questions about the whole home buying journey, remember you can leave them in a comment, find me online, and I would love to get in touch with you. Don't forget to subscribe. I would really appreciate it. Even if you don't come back for another video, subscribe would really help me out. Hope you guys have a great day. Thanks.